Alright, we locked in right now. It's the Wheel1 podcast. Got a special guest in the cut right here. You know what I'm saying? This is my homie Lily. We go way back, you know what I'm saying? But introduce yourself to the people.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Lily, aka Tanaah.City. And honestly, I'm so glad I finally made it here. This guy is the guy.
Yeah, we've been trying to get this done for a minute, you know what I'm saying? It's finally getting done. You know, I appreciate it. I appreciate her coming through.
Better late than never.
Exactly. That's the style. So, you know, Lily, we're going to do this how we usually do this on this podcast. We're going to jump right into it, you know what I'm saying?
Cool.
You know, we're going to talk about early life, you know what I'm saying? Where you grew up, how you grew up, you know, siblings, family life. Like, you know, let's get a little bit into that.
Okay. So where I grew up, I actually was first raised in downtown.
Okay.
Yeah, Wellesley, and then I was, by the time, like 2000, I was raised in Jane and Finch, and that's basically, the rest is history.
So, like, how was that, like, the transition from, like, you know, the downtown living to the West End living, and we already know the infamous, you know, J and F.
Yeah. I think that's a great question. No one's ever asked me that. The transition, actually, downtown, I think it prepared me, because downtown is like a melting pot. It has everyone. Mm-hmm. It's not only one kind of culture or nothing. You know what I mean? I was surrounded by a lot of different things, a lot of people who were like, you know, I didn't know back then, but who had mental health issues downtown. You know what I mean? It was just me, my mom, my sister, right? So we lived on the 18th floor. It was kind of like views, so I liked views from when I was a kid, like, you know what I mean?
Those downtown views are addicted, right? You know what I'm saying?
So just like, I really love downtown because, like, you know, you could meet people like this, and it helped me enhance my communication skills as well, because you just get around, you talk to people anywhere at any time, kind of vibe. And then I kind of just moved to Jane and Finch, where it's like now you see more people that look just like you, like Caribbean, African kind of vibes.
Facts.
Your little Asian one here.
That's a funny thing that I think people who aren't from the Jane and Finch community wouldn't know. There's a huge Asian community in Jane and Finch.
Oh no, yes there is. There is, and big up to that.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Asian people in Jane and Finch. I didn't see you niggas at Westview.
Yeah, right? Trust me, there's a big community. So yeah, that was the transition. It was very, like, you know, it was cool. It was good.
I'm saying that's always good to hear, because, like, you know, I like to know about that, especially like the upbringing is always a solid foundation of, like, I feel who we are as people. So, like, you know, to hear that, like, you went from somewhere where it's like you see all these people around, some melting pot, the views, to now less views but more people of your color. So it's like kind of like in a short period of time you had like that whole experience of Toronto in itself, like, you know.
No, and it's a good point you made, because honestly, like, being raised in downtown or born in downtown, it helped me be more open to different people. You know how sometimes certain people from certain cultures, they don't want to talk to nobody else.
Yeah, they don't want a business.
They don't want a business, like, you know. But for me, it was like, nah, like, I want to talk to the Indians and the Asians and the blacks and the whites. I wanted to get to know everybody, and like coming from downtown, it made it easier for me. It wasn't a problem. You know what I mean?
I think that's an amazing thing, because, like, you know, most people, especially, you know, in the West End, because everything's like kind of like scattered. Mm-hmm. Everyone's, you know, kind of sticks to their tribe.
Exactly.
You know, and I feel like not always the greatest of things, because, you know, some fuck shit can always happen from that. Mm. So, you know, as you were growing up, you know, as a kid, you know, this, you know, downtown Jane and Finch style, what were some of the hobbies that you just always stuck?
Oh, for me, some of the hobbies, I always love to read. I always love to...
I seen you picking up my book earlier.
Yeah, I could have had his credit card number and everything in here. I can open it and everything. But, you know what? I love to read. I always love to read. I always love to, since I was a kid, play with things, like create stories, and you know what I mean? I love to laugh, make jokes. I was the girl that... Good luck. If you want to try roasting me, we're going to have a roasting.
Yeah, that's a fact. I mean? That's a fact. Lily in high school, bro, telling you, she was not the one. She still has the jokes now, but she's not roasting that.
You know, you have to have thick skin where you were coming from, right?
Facts,
so it's like, at any moment, you have to defend yourself. In fact, I remember there's a meme going out now. It was like, back then, when if you were dark skinned, you would be treated like it was 1950.
I swear to God. Niggas are calling you tar and shit. You're like, ow, bro. That shit hurts.
Just like me, like, you know what I mean? So imagine being a young woman who was skinny too, and dark skin and African. So I was getting triple the roast. You know what I mean? So I had to have a lot of thick skin and be like ready for anybody at any moment. You know what I mean? But yeah.
And how do you think that like helped you going forward? Like, you know,
It helped my communication skills for sure, but I mean now the world we're living in, you gotta be kind of careful of what you say. It's different from before, where it's like, you say something and everybody laugh it off. Now,
yeah, you lose everything.
You lose everything. You say the wrong thing. So I think it really helped me just communicate, learn how to talk to people, learn how to listen to people, feel off people's vibes. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because for instance, like, you're coming from the street, you know what I mean? Facts. Like, you know what I mean? People, the environment's making people tense at the same time. So it's like, you know how to read people easily. So those are the skills I built for sure. And just being strong when you need to, having that strength as a woman, because I was raised around a bunch of women and all we had was strength and how to maneuver around, right?
I kind of want you to get into that a little bit, just like the strength of like being a woman coming up from where you come from, and like, how was that, like, because like I can understand the male perspective because obviously I'm a dude and I'm from the hood too, but like, tell me about the female perspective.
I think like as we grew up, it was a lot of you don't understand till you hit a certain age. I feel that's where the wisdom comes.
Real shit.
But my father, although I didn't grow up with him, he was always in my life. Like, I always visited him. I love my father very much. He's an intelligent, wise, funny man. But really, it was my mom. It was off of her back, off of her work and sweat and blood and tears that she raised me and my sister. You know what I mean? And it was never one time where she was like, there's not enough food, we ain't gonna eat today. I always remember having food, warm food. Even her taking me and my friends out to Mandarin when we were kids, like 5 of my friends, making sure we all eat. Same with my sister. So it was a lot of like, it takes a village to raise a child, but it was a lot of women in that village. So I know that people say a lot of, black women are strong, and as I got older, I kind of didn't like that word.
Really?
Yeah, because I kind of felt like it was giving us too much of an expectation. It didn't allow us to kind of sit in our femininity and be like, hey, I need this, or I need help, or to reach out and say, I'm not feeling good right now. You know what I mean? And it's not to say white women are not strong or Indian or Asian women are strong, because we know their struggles too. They gotta be strong same way. But I feel like with black women, it was really like, oh, you're strong, okay, bye, kind of vibes.
It's so crazy that you say that, because like I think of it like, of course you hear that, but then when you really look on it realistically in the totem pole of life, like the black women have historically been at the bottom. Like,
Well, in history, a lot of us actually been at the top. We was queens. We was running.
Well, yeah, I mean before colonialism.
Okay, now we talking.
Yeah, I'm saying, sorry, let me correct you. She's right. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get correct out here. You know what I'm saying? After colonialism. You know what I'm saying? When they done fucked us up. They just kind of put the black male and the black woman. I feel especially this at the bottom of the totem pole, right. And I feel like that's where. In a sense, like that stereotype of like black women are so strong probably comes from, because it's like, look at the type of shit that they got to go through on a daily basis, and there's like, it's like the male privilege that I have is stripped away, and then tenfold for you because you're just as black as I am, but then you're a woman on top,
exactly.
So I feel like that's like a big thing, and it's great that you say that you don't like the fact that people just assume like all black women are strong. You don't need. You don't need some time. You don't need your help too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we all do.
Yeah.
And man, it's a big thing. I love that you brought that up, bro. That's huge, yo. That's huge. So now, like, I want to know though, what are some of your passions that you had that were young that have kept on through adulthood?
Definitely performing and just communicating with people. I feel like everyone's interesting if you let them be. Facts. And since I was a kid, it was really easy for me to make friends. Like 2 seconds, I can make a friend out of you, right? That's something I carried as I got older, and now they'll call it, good vibes. It's kind of because when I look at people, it's like I have to remind myself they're only human.
That's a big thing, right there.
You know what
I
mean? Right, and I know some of us. I remember someone said to me, we might all be the same, but not all of us are commissioned the same. And that's okay too. You know what I mean? Because personally, even right off the bat, I can tell you, don't bring up no mathematics, nothing to me, Don't, because my head's going to get dizzy. I'm going to start sweating. Bring the final math product to me.
You're like, I ain't got time for that. I got no time for that.
Whereas it's like, bring me in a spelling bee or to read quickly or read something to people, right on the ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these are kind of skills that you want to remember even as a child, that what were you good at? And those are the things I took. And I understand that as you get older, they could be stripped off of you sometimes. Like we were talking about earlier, right? But I made sure my parents also gave me the leeway and the freedom to keep that within my heart. So that's why I kept performing as I grew older. I got into comedy as I grew older too.
Which you should, because like, you know, nigga, you funny.
Alright. No, it's almost as you're funny. It's like, bruh.
I know. It's like what you want me to say something? But like, this is a natural thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a natural thing, but I could imagine how hard it would be to actually write jokes. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Honestly, shout out to stand-up comedians. That is no joke.
Like, that's the real definition.
Look at the irony. It's bare jokes, but it's no joke. Like, seriously, no. Shout out
that
to
shit
them.
went over my
That's
head.
Real genius work, man. To stand up in front of people with the intention that I want to make you laugh, that's tough.
Facts. And it's like, you done written stuff out where you're like, I hope this is funny because this may be funny to me, but like, you know, I don't know if they're gonna get it. Like, you know,
talk. So what you say to a group of like, you know, black people might not work with the group of Caucasians.
Facts.
You have to remember this as a comedian. You know,
I didn't even think about that. You
exactly.
Shit's real.
It's real.
You know what I'm saying? Now, we kind of touched a little bit on like how fucking, you know, how it is for you as like a black woman, but like, you know, I want to get a little bit deeper into it. Like, as a black woman in today's society, how do you feel like that is, and how does like, what's your view on that? How does it affect you personally?
As a black woman, I just kind of feel like times have changed.
Mm-hmm. Like, in which way though?
Look around you, like I was saying, like everywhere I look, the them have a business. I never seen this amount of young girls. I'm not talking like 40, 50. I never seen this amount of like 20, even younger than that, running full-time businesses, getting paid, doing what they love to do, like providing amazing service. Like, I don't remember a time when that was a thing.
Facts.
Like, I scrolled on Instagram, like everywhere, it's like business. And it's like, good for you. You know what I mean? Like, there was a long time where it's like, where do we find ourselves in this place? What do we do? Like, you know what I mean? Some of us, like, we don't want to sit behind a cubicle every day in an office. You know what I mean? Like, what? Like, I feel like nowadays, black women, like, we've been given the freedom to really excel and express ourselves, which is even the nail game. When I was young, my mom used to always take me out to buy nail polish. I used to be in there like a kid at a candy store. And when I got older, my stepsister gave me a nail kit with acrylics and everything, but I didn't know what to do with it. But I'm like, this is dope. So now you go around and a lot of black girls are doing nails. Actually,
very true.
I was always wondering when they're gonna start doing that, because I'm like, we're always in the shop anyways. So when are our own people gonna? So, you know, looking now and seeing like people are actually picking themselves up. You know what I mean? It's beautiful to see. So times are different now, especially for black women. Like, we're getting definitely more opportunities. Yeah. Shout out.
I mean, that's amazing, because like, that is a big fact. Like, you know what I'm saying? The hair game, the lash game, you know what I'm saying? The nail
beauty
game,
industry,
the beauty industry, period. Because I feel like, too, black women are like one of the main fronts of like the beauty industry in general, because like, you know, let's be real, most people copy what black women do, you know what I'm saying? We're just keeping it a buck, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, love to all, but you know, we're keeping it real.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it makes sense that they're finally starting to dive into it.
It only makes sense, to be honest.
You know, better late than never to the party, you know?
No, for real.
And like, I love to see that too, because it's all about businesses and growth, and like, you know, especially with these young black women, children in general, just because it's like, bro, we need different options than like, you know, the ones that we're constantly
Thank you, but that's what I was trying to say. We needed options. We didn't know where to go. Like, even for me, I don't do hair or nothing like that, but even as a artist or a performer, it was like, bro, where do I go? Literally, there was a point where it's like, if you don't have connection, you don't know nobody, you're not doing it.
You're not getting it, nothing.
You're not getting it
because you don't even know where to start.
You don't know where to start. So it's like, okay, that was all cute in school when we're doing performances and but now you're out of school. It's like, okay, so
where do people actually do this shit?
Like, where do I fit in? So even for me, I would say like even when I joined the pageant, Miss Africa Canada, it was like being surrounded by black women more often than I usually was.
Okay.
Right? So it was a beautiful experience compared to what people, the scary horror stories people have about pageants. I actually enjoyed those women. I think they were overall pretty sweet girls. And like you just learn everybody's journey, everybody's hustle, everybody's like dreams. People want to be better in life. And you see that. Plus they were beautiful. So it was like
it's a combination of
it's
things.
a combination of things. So it was great to actually have someone open a door and be like, hey, you know what, here's a platform.
I feel like that's huge too, because like because I'm someone too where it's like I needed somebody to just open the door for me and be like, yo, you know, this is a way you can do it.
Yeah.
And once I saw that, I was like, oh shit. And then it just opens your mind up, because like I guess especially like coming from where we're coming from and the age that we're at, we're not used to having these options.
We're not. Thank you. We're not.
So it's like, whoa, this is an option? Why didn't I think of this 5 years ago?
Thinking, right? When I eventually moved out my own, that's when it gave me like the energy and the bravery, the courage to go into theater. And it was written by a black guy. Shout out Troy. And it was like I jumped into it. I'm like, why? Leon, can you really go on stage in front of people? Like, you know, you're doing too much. But I'm like, Leon, it's either you have two options. Either you do or you don't. And no one's going to give a damn. So just go do it and see what happens. And I did it. And it was a wonderful experience. It kept me disciplined. It kept me focused. Man, you couldn't tell me nothing those times. I was focused. Yo.
You're like, bro, don't go get it fucked up, bro. I'm trying to get my lines right.
I'm trying to get my lines right, you know? So shout out to them, like people opening these doors. I was surrounded by older people. They were like in their 30s too, all black people, just like bro, like good vibes, good energy, and they opened these doors.
And what's the big thing too is once you're surrounded by people doing productive things, you just immediately want to do the same.
Period.
And I feel like that's a great thing when you come out of an environment where it's like a lot of people are kind of stuck, and then now it's like, boom, everyone's fucking productive over here, and you're like, whoa.
You have to pick up your weight too.
Yeah, you got to pick up the pace because you're not used to this.
You're not used to that. You know what I mean?
You know, that's. I love that you bring that up and we get into that because, like, you know, mental health is always a big factor on this show. You know what I'm saying? You know, you already know with me and my whole situation, so mental health is big for me. So one thing we like to talk about is like, you know, a situation that first made you like really have to sit down and have a real like conversation about your mental health and like, you know, how to push forward.
I would say the most recent scenario where that occurred was when I was pregnante. El pregnante. When I was pregnant. Anybody who's ever been pregnant or carried out their pregnancy, I feel like you reach this point where it's like, okay, I can't turn back. And yeah,
I can't turn back.
Yeah, there ain't no turning back. So there's so much decisions when you become a mother. You have many decisions to make, even when you do give birth now, right? So it doesn't stop there. It just keeps going. Like I told you before I got pregnant, it was very like I was on my high horse. I was focused. It was like even if I make a mistake, I felt like I could come back from it because it's like whatever, dust it off.
It's soft.
It's soft. For me, when I became a mother, it tested my mental because it's like when I was thinking once before, now I gotta think twice. You know what I mean? And it was like when I was pregnant now, I mean, all that stuff started popping in my head. Oh, I want the family now. I want the marriage, and I want my daughter to go and see her father. Now those thoughts really started popping in my brain, right? And when I realized that wasn't you know how they say God laughs at our plans, right?
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah. That's a fact.
No, he really did me to mine, right? So like for me, it wasn't like wasn't what I planned, but then I felt like this is God saying, now we have to move another direction. You know what I mean? So for me, it was tough. Like, you know, when you're pregnant, the hormones are raging. Now you're thinking about your future. Now you're thinking about, I gotta double my income because of the kid. And you know, now you're thinking about the relationship with the man. You're thinking about, you know, you're just thinking about a whole bunch of stuff. And meanwhile, I'm pregnant. I'm hormonal, and then you're trying to get to him, trying to make him understand. And he's like, you're stressing me out, but he's still stressed too because now he's a new daddy. So it's like, it was a lot on me, and I was very emotional, but I'm just grateful to my my support from my mom, my sister, my daughter's grandmother on the dad's side. So they really support me. They were the angels in my life, you know, making sure I was eating healthy, making sure when I was down to like support me, you know what I mean? Making sure I was going to my doctor's appointments, like it just has support. And like I remember when I was just like, I can't imagine how some girls do this alone. You know what I mean?
It's kind of crazy because like earlier you were talking about how it takes a village.
It takes a
and
village.
Then right there you just laid it out where you're like, bro, I have my village and thank God for that, because like, you know, how would you get through it without them? And like and like you said, there are some girls out here who are really doing it solo.
Yeah, like solo, you know what I mean? And shout out to them, because shout out to them,
you know what I'm
because
saying?
it's not easy.
I could only imagine, because it's like all those things, those thoughts that you were just going through, but then it's like I'm by myself, and like we already know how things can be scary when you're by yourself, because you feel alone.
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying? That's the worst feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that on top of you have to bring new life into this world, and then you're hoping not to fuck up this new life.
Exactly. But that was another mental health thing now too, because in my head it's like, you want to be good for you, but now it's a question of maybe you think you're so good, but can you be good to this child? Because when you become a mother, in my opinion, it was almost like you know who you are, but you don't know who this child is. They're just coming out of you now. They're their own person. You know what I mean? So now you have to deal with them, and then you wake up 6 a.m. They're crying, and you have to chain them. You're just chilling, and then it's a constant cycle. And then they get older. Now they can walk by themselves. They can talk by themselves. They can go to school. But in the back of your head, you're like, yo, is my youth okay?
Is my youth okay?
Is she good? She went to this birthday party. No, I seen her walking with that guy after school. Who's that? Like, now there's a million thoughts in your head. Trust me, it's a constant mental health tug of war. You know what I mean? And one thing I was thinking about before I came to the interview was, the thing about mental health is not everybody deals with it the same.
Facts.
There can be someone like going through freaking the worst, and then they come to you and they're like jumping jilliker, the happiest person of life. Whereas somebody could not be really going through what we consider too much, and really they're going crazy. So mental health doesn't look the same for everybody. Mental health could be a guy who's friggin' like sleeping with everybody in the city from here to New Brunswick. Mental health could be, it looks like anything. Like, it's not only like somebody in the psych ward. Like, that's what people think. Like,
facts. And I think that's like a big thing why I try to like normalize it with everybody that comes on the show to talk about it, because it's like we all go through it, but then like you said, it looks very different. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, when I'm going through it more times, I'm like that type of guy where I want to sit in my corner for a sec and collect myself, and eventually I'll come and talk about it, because like I feel like I need to get it out. But I need that time though. Like there's gonna be a time where I'm like, I don't really want no one to fuck with me right now. Like,
yeah.
And that's just for me to process, and like not everyone's like that. Some people, they want to be like, fuck, I'm going through it. Can you like be there for me and tell me that this is a fucked up time? Sometimes you just need to hear that, you know? So
some people, when they're going through it, they'd rather be surrounded by 101 people. And some people really would not want to be around nobody.
Yeah, I'm one of those ones where it's like, yo, get the fuck away from me.
I do it because honestly, you know the saying, misery loves company, and I don't want to be rubbing off my sucky energy on nobody, but we're only human. Sometimes it helps to get a lending hand or a helping ear, you know?
Yeah, as much as like we can get in those stages, like, you know, it's always great when you're like, there's someone that's just like, bro, it's all good, fam, don't worry, I'm rocking regardless. Exactly. Like, you know, and it just lets you know, okay, maybe like you think of this whole situation on your cooking, maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was, and like, you know, and you just continue to build from there.
Oh, another thing too about mental health, I noticed a lot of girls saying like when they're pregnant, a lot of their friends dipped on them.
Did that happen to you?
No, not really. People were actually shocked. I kept it really private, like you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I didn't even know until like, a couple weeks ago. Like her daughter's like a full on like a year old, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so it's like even me, like when I first would find out my friends are pregnant, it's not like I would try to avoid them, but in the back of my head it was like, I don't want to take you away from your child. That's what I was thinking.
But how are you taking them away?
No, because you know when you want to go turn up, it's like, oh yeah, let's go turn up. Meanwhile, their kid needs their mom. You don't know what they need. Obviously, there's babysitters, maybe if they have support. But that was in my head, because now I'm thinking about the child. You know what I mean? Not knowing that sometimes mommy needs
Mommy
time
needs
for
mommy
herself.
time, bro.
You know, real talk. So when I had my baby, it was like no one knew, and then I told my first friend Judy, and shout out Judy, shout out Shubi.
Shout out.
But I told her when we went to what's that place? Blue Mountain. We were in Swiss Chalet, and I'm like, so yeah, you know, I'm pregnant though. She's like, huh? She's like, what? I was like,
Just like, yeah, you know, so I'm pregnant. Though.
She didn't know, and I'm like, I know, because I know she was gonna be like, you know, you might be too fragile to be going traveling. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna tell her in freaking Blue Mountain.
Facts.
So like, yeah, she supported me all the way. Like, that's my girl. Like, she was there for me, and even when the baby came out, she was still there for us. Like, we celebrated together and had a good time, laughs, memorable moments. So big up to her, man.
Yeah, that's how people become family. Like, you know what
exactly.
I'm saying? It's like, you know, the last episode, like I said, I had my uncle Derek on here, white man, not actually related to me, but like been family from before I was born. So like, it don't make no difference. Like,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like one of those situations like that with your friend where, you know, pretty sure your daughter's gonna grow up. That's auntie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't changing. Like, you know. So I love to hear stories like that. So you know. Yeah. So now that we talk about like, you know, going through the pregnancy and how tough it was, let's talk about how like you got through it. Like, what helped you cope through that? Like, you know.
What helped me cope through that is prayer and laughter. My family, there's probably not one day we don't go to sing a joke or something. So somebody does something silly, but it was definitely prayer and laughter. Just really asking God that now I know for sure I'm not perfect. I'm being humble about it, and I need your help. Like 100%. I need your help financially, mentally, emotionally, physically, everything.
Every way you can help.
Every way you can help me at this point, and just also my daughter's father as well. Just, you know, for me, like I didn't really like seeing my parents argue, and nobody's perfect, so arguments are bound to happen. But at the same time, just letting him know that the way, I know we're not married or together or whatever, but the way that I prefer it is that the basic minimum is for respect. These conversation has to happen. You know what I mean? Like, as long as my daughter sees that we respect each other and that we love her and that we're gonna do what we need to do to make sure she has a good life, that's important.
That's the most important, because I feel like nowadays people feel like once someone has their child, it's like they own their parent. Like, you know, the opposite parent. Like, you know, like man's like, oh, that's my missile. Like, why is she moving? Like, bro, she's her own fucking person. Just because she had your kid doesn't mean she's like, if she you owned her now, and vice versa. For, you know, for
but like a lot of men do that. You know, they want to own the things.
Nah, beer men do that. I don't like that. Still, they make it look bad for niggas like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, don't be a fucking weirdo and so possessive, my nigga. Shorties don't like that, and the ones who do, y'all are fucked. Stop encouraging this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, you know, I didn't mean to go off. I've been holding that one. You know what I'm saying?
I can see he just like, shh, there you go. Oh my gosh, no, but for real, like, you know what? Like, it doesn't. I learned like even mans in their 30s, bro. People need to grow up. People still have growing up to do. Don't you see those interviews with freaking Shaquille O'Neal and them saying they regret this, they should have done that? These guys are well off, wealthy, rich, everything. But even at their old age, they're saying, hey, I made a mistake. So it doesn't matter about age too. Like, people still need to have a long way to go mentally.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Like, I know I'm still a work in progress. That's why sometimes when I deal with even relations with other people, it's just like, yeah, understand too, you're not perfect. And be careful of what you expect from people too, because that could make your head go mad too.
I think that's a big thing because of how we are, and like obviously more times people like have an assumption of themselves, like, you know, keep themselves in high self-esteem. So you assume that, you know, others would do things how you would do them.
Exactly.
And then that's how you become extremely disappointed.
Yes, it's true.
Because then you're just like, what the fuck? You're like, but if it was me, and
I know,
but they ain't you.
Exactly.
You know, that was a big lesson I had to learn.
Me
like,
too.
Especially for me, like after I got shot, because it was like, I used to be all the time like, yo, sad that people didn't come see me all the time, and like, yo, you know, if it was me, and then I had to realize, yo, nigga, number one, niggas got their own lives.
Yeah.
Number one, and then number two, like, not everybody is you.
Yes,
people ain't gonna be the friend you're gonna be. People are not gonna be the employee you're gonna be. Like all that type of shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Once you realize that, I think it's a turning point in life, because then you can
Yes.
now accept people for who they actually are. Thank you for the snaps.
No, that's one of my prayers, to accept things.
That's trippy.
Yeah,
Real shit?
yeah, for real. Especially
crazy.
things you can't change. Oh,
facts.
you have to deal with what you can do. That's the most.
I feel that's the thing that gets people and like stresses them out, or it makes them like so anxious about the world nowadays, that they don't focus on the things that they can control, and the rest of it, just let go and let God.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I had to really focus on when I had my daughter. It was like, yo, I know you want this perfect, this and that, but Leanne,
life ain't perfect.
Life ain't perfect. And like the way you're trying to control stuff, because I wanted to tighten it on how I wanted things to look, and that's not how it was working. So just reminding myself, learn to accept things how they are, and I'm sure there's gonna be a light at the tunnel, at the end of the tunnel. Just by focusing.
Even if it's darkness, you know, you just need a flash. You just need to see a flash, so you know you're in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like once you get that, it just excels from there. So now I love to talk about, because we talk about how we cope through this situation. You know what I'm saying? Always, God's always number one and the big one. You know what I'm saying? But I like to talk about how the pain has been used to now benefit you.
Oh, shine my eyes well. You didn't finish your question or line. I'm there.
It's alright, no, it's alright, yo. You get it. You already know what I'm talking about, yo. Oh, that motivates you to get better, bro.
Listen, that's what pain does, though.
Real nigga shit.
That's what pain does, though, and it shined my eyes well because it always reminds me that I'm not. It humbled me. It taught me, you know what I mean. I have much learning and growing to do, and that just to be more. Put my foot down in, because you know what, I'll say this. Another thing too is I feel like a lot of times women or whomever, I don't want to generalize this, but sometimes we're not taught boundaries.
Facts.
We're not taught when to say this ain't it or no. You know what I mean? So eventually in my life, when I did grow into a woman, I started learning how to say nah, it's not gonna work for me.
Yeah, I like this.
When I had my daughter, it really opened my eyes to really navigate my life and position my life where, like, Leanne, if this is not gonna teach you something or benefit you, don't do it. And it's not always about money too. That's another thing.
Facts.
It's about like fulfilling. Do what fulfills you. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to remind myself. And the pain,
preaching the gospel right now.
Oh Lord, the pain, it just taught me like never to forget what happened to me, but to always move forward. And life is your best experience. It's a teacher. And I would like to say I'm a student of life. You know what I mean? And it's not the last, like I'm not done making mistakes. I wish I was. But I'll say that the pain really taught me to never forget the past, but to always try to move forward,
Yo, that is some of the realest shit I've ever heard. Let alone, spoken on this pod right now. Because, saying that it got me a little emotional. Like, saying I was hearing that, I'm like, yo, real shit. Because it made me think about myself a little bit. I'm like, yo, real talk, bro. You can't forget the past, but you got to keep it pushing. And I was like, damn. Like, it hit me. I hope this shit hits you guys like it hit me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because, it's real deal. Like,
Like, what I went through when I was pregnant, I'm not forgetting that. I'm not gonna forget that. What I went through when I was pregnant, the intimidation, the feeling alone, the all of that. I'm sorry. Even I don't know if any pregnant girl can forget what they went through when they was pregnant. You better hope you treated her right, and you better hope. Trust me, because those are some pivotal times. Those are some trying times. Those are the times when you're really asking yourself questions.
See, and now you say this, I think about I don't have any children, but I've had situations, and I remember one I've had when I had a girl that was pregnant, and I was an asshole, like straight asshole. Like I look back on it, I'm like, that's no way. Like I'm disappointed in myself because it's like, why was I moving like that? Like even if I didn't want to be with her like in a relationship, I didn't have to move the way I was moving. Right. I was moving less total dickhead, and like when shit went left, it's like what I expect her to be like. I don't know, sad for me or some shit. Like it was so fucked up. So it was like my whole mentality with that, and to hear what you're saying now, I'm just like, makes me feel even worse. I'm like, fuck, I really was a fucking piece of shit. I'm so sorry for that.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh.
Nah, but
At least
it's real deal.
self-awareness is a big thing.
Like I appreciate that now. I can look back on it and realize that, and like I've tried to apologize to her, like and she like hears me, but like doesn't really want to talk to me, and like I understand that, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like when I look back, it's like fuck. I'm glad enough you're even accepting the apology. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I really appreciate you telling your story and sharing that, and like sharing how like hard pregnancy can be as a woman on your mental, and just like how you use that to like help you benefit you going forward as a person in general. You know what I'm saying? I really appreciate that. But Lily, what I'm saying, we're getting close to the end here, so I want to know, what are you currently doing for yourself, and what's coming up? What's next, bro? You know what I'm saying? What's the next page? What's the next path?
What I'm currently doing with myself is I'm currently living my best soft life.
Soft.
No, I'm just working, trying to save up. You know what I mean? I want to travel. I need some more traveling to do.
Where were you trying to go?
Anywhere. Listen, anywhere there's an island or a beach.
See, but you can't do the nigga thing, bro. Don't do the nigga. Nah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about, bro. Niggas only go on vacation to like Caribbean places or maybe Mexico. You know what I'm saying? That's the most South niggas touch. They don't go nowhere else.
I wanna like Japan, those places.
Okay, all right, that's what I'm saying.
I wanna go to Spain.
All right, okay.
Where else? Italy,
She's cultured.
No, I have to see the people. Them, they have to see me too. You feel me?
You know what I'm saying? My nigga Lily's cultured. You know what I'm saying?
I want to see the world, but nothing beats the beach and a pool and some rum punch.
Alright, she's not capping. She's not capping. Man, as much as I was making a fuss, she's not capping about that part.
Yeah, like now I think I'm definitely just trying to get into spiritually. Because sometimes when you fall off, it's like you're lost. So it's like that, trying to focus on plans for me and my daughter, like what moves to make sure she's okay and healthy. Health is wealth. It's really important.
Health is wealth.
And just making sure I learn more, especially financially. You know what I mean? Because doors are opening even financially. A lot of people didn't know nothing about nothing, but now a lot of people are learning about money, which is amazing, and they're putting it in schools too. Right?
Yeah, a little bit.
It's about time.
I wish they did when we were kids.
Oh gosh, right?
I'd actually fucking paid attention.
Yeah, and I would have actually been good in math. But but you know what? Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Just trying to be the best mommy. She's just a year, so I'm trying to bond with her and trying to make her like, you know what I mean? Not like me. I want her to be better than me, actually. But,
better version. You know?
Yeah.
The upgraded Lily.
No, I just want her to be her. I don't need her to be me. I'm me.
Okay.
You ain't me. I had enough
right.
of me. I need her to be her, the best her she can be, and excel in that, and love life, and hopefully she can come to me to confide in, and I want to be that person for her.
I love that. There's no better way to end it, but then with the love. You know what I'm saying?
Of course, love is king.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. I love that. I appreciate that. I appreciate you, Lily, for coming through. My dog. We had to get this done. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? You already know. We were locked in. You know what I'm saying? It's your boy Master Twice. It's the Wheel1 podcast.
Thank you. It's your girl Tanaah.City. You don't know.
Later. This shit, like, you just learn these good stories, though.
No, for real, though.